On June 10th, 2021, Universal Orlando opened the Apex Predator of roller coasters. Board a vehicle as you head inside the Raptor paddock, reaching speeds up to 70 miles per hour on 4,700 feet of track, 12 seconds of airtime, and 4 inversions. Islands of Adventure was about to evolve. Just like Jurassic World, consumers said they wanted experiences that were bigger, louder, and had more teeth. Welcome to the VelociCoaster. Since opening on May 28, 1999, Islands of Adventure for the majority of the park's early existence saw very little change.
We are proud to unveil Universal Studios Islands of Adventure.
Each of the park's 5 islands offered an incredibly immersive, varied experience that remained essentially the same in the park's first decade. During the first 11 years of operation, only the Flying Unicorn, Storm Force Acceleration, and the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley train ride were added. The park was so well built and offered such a good variety of attractions that it didn't need much change. At least, not yet. The world-class immersive themed offering of Islands of Adventure would remain one of the best theme parks in the world, even with very little change. The first major change would come in 2010, when Islands saw the Wizarding World of Harry Potter repurpose and replace a large section of Lost Continent known as Merlinwood. The land was transformed into Hogsmeade, repurposing former attractions such as Dueling Dragons while adding more. The park had now been open for just over 11 years and received one new major attraction, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. This new addition was incredibly popular and brought a fresh audience in to see the rest of the park. The next 6 years of the park's operation were more about refreshing what was already in place. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man was remastered in high definition, along with the Incredible Hulk being completely rebuilt, offering essentially a brand new roller coaster, but one that was exactly the same as the one that stood before. The only new attraction opening during this time period would be Skull Island Reign of Kong, which in 2015 took a section of the tram tour in Hollywood and expanded on it. Islands of Adventure, now 18 years old, was still an incredibly immersive park, full of varied experiences, but much of what awaited inside had been there since the park opened. The first major loss for the park was about to come when 2 of the park's original roller coasters were removed. Islands of Adventure was about to become no longer a stranger to change. Dueling Dragons, later named Dragon Challenge, closed on September 5th, 2017. The intense, once dueling roller coasters were removed and replaced with another, a much more family-friendly Intamin multi-launch steel roller coaster. Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, yes, you do need to say the full name, was a technical marvel, though it had a somewhat troubled start due to delays in testing. As the longest roller coaster in Florida with 7 launches, it's an incredibly complicated attraction that, while thrilling, was not as extreme as the former coaster that sat on the land. The majority of riders loved this new story-driven experience. However, there were some who were somewhat disappointed in the downgrade in the intensity department. However, just 2 years after opening the most expensive ever built roller coaster, another experience was set to debut. The true replacement for those looking for that intense offering that Dueling Dragons once delivered. This time, nobody would be left disappointed. First though, let's take a look at how this type of Intamin roller coaster, formerly known as an Intamin Blitz, came to be. Once again, we need to head back 65 million years ago into Jurassic Park. Oh, wait, that isn't right. We need to head back 14 years ago to see the point.
And like its name indicates, Maverick is a coaster of a new breed. It's very low to the ground, has a lot of twists, a lot of turns, just non-stop action from start to finish.
Since debuting very unreliably in 1996 on reverse freefall coasters, LSM launches use fins on the track to interact with magnets on the train, pulling it towards them and launching them forward. Each fin is fired in sequence and controlled by the computer with the correct amount of power to give the desired amount of speed to propel the train forward and through the course. In 1996, the technology to control these launches was troublesome and unreliable. It wouldn't be until the first LSM Launch coaster, formerly called an Intamin Blitz, made by Intamin, opened in 2007 at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, that the technology would really start to become the standard way to create an effective, powerful, and reliable launch. Cedar Point's $21 million new roller coaster, called Maverick, marked a turning point for Intamin Launch coasters. While there were some issues with the track design that needed to be fixed, it proved that LSM systems could offer increased power for launches, yet have very high efficiency. The reaction to Maverick was extremely positive. One of the best coasters not only at Cedar Point, but anywhere in the world. Capable of intense inversions, smooth transitions, and fast LSM launches, placing the Intamin Blitz coaster as one of the most desired for any park around the world. As more and more of the models came, they continued to improve. Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens Tampa became an instant favourite. While more expensive to operate and required quite a large amount of track to place the fins, by 2010, Intamin were nearly only selling launch coasters with LSM launches, rather than the former hydraulic system that they had previously used. Taron would take it a step further at Phantasialand in Germany, combining the LSM launch coaster with incredible rockwork and theming to offer an intense version of the attraction that didn't need inversions. It is full of airtime, twists, and turns, and has become known for many as one of the best roller coasters in the world, that was slotted into a small footprint of land in the park, even with its 72-mile-per-hour launch. One of the things that made Taron so good would be the trains and restraint system. Intamin would design a brand new train that would use ergonomically shaped seats with an over-the-shoulder lap bar, not shoulder restraints. This new restraint system not only gave a really free-feeling experience when sitting in them, but also increased comfort and removed the head banging that could normally be found on high-intensity roller coasters during the ride. The trains were so well designed that they would only need welds for the seat brackets, and they would be made from solid components, allowing a reduction in weight. Once again, the Intamin style of coaster had been improved, allowing for an increased launch intensity, a smoother ride, and reduced maintenance. More on Taron, however, another time.
This is our Triceratops encounter. This is where our guests have the opportunity to see a living, breathing dinosaur.
At Islands of Adventure, even before Triceratops Encounter closed in 2011, rumours began to circulate that the Jurassic Park section could be getting expanded. In the early 2000s, a concept development would be known as Raptor Racers, a wooden roller coaster with tracks shaped like a dinosaur skeleton, that during the ride visitors would encounter a group of velociraptors and be chased. It was planned to be designed by Coasterworks, who would only go on to build 2 wooden roller coasters in the year 2000 before going out of business. This concept was never approved. What would be approved revolved around an amber mine roller coaster, thought to perhaps be a hypercoaster where riders would travel over waterfalls and a mixture of rockwork and into the amber mines, similar to sections of Camp Jurassic. This time riders would be on the track riding minecarts used for mining amber. This project was reportedly approved but later cancelled due to the downturn of tourism after the 9/11 attacks. Both of these would have been located on the Jurassic Park expansion area that was later used for Skull Island in 2015. Over the years, there have been many rumours about more wooden coasters, a Velociraptor dark ride, or even that the Jeep Safari idea could be coming back. What would come, however, would be built on the area close to the Discovery Centre, the former home of Triceratops Encounter. Within 2 years, Islands of Adventure, the park that had had very little change since opening, would now be home to not 1, but 2 incredible high-tech roller coasters. Intamin would once again work with Universal Studios to bring together everything that had worked previously on the LSM Launch coasters, creating something bigger, meaner, and scarier. By October 2018, rumours began to circulate that a new coaster was coming to Islands of Adventure. Land work could begin to be seen at the old Triceratops encounter area. Not only that, but survey markers had been found all along the front of the Discovery Centre waterfront. What was being worked on was known as Project 791, heavily rumoured to be that new Intamin Blitz. The abandoned Triceratops encounter was finally removed, and over the next year the track layout was found in permits, and what will be coming was going to be big. The Raptor encounter moved location, and large amounts of groundwork began in preparation. As more and more construction continued, the large amount of space was revealed. While it was clear something was coming to anyone visiting the park, it wouldn't be until after the track was complete that Universal acknowledged something was even being built. This wasn't a churro stand. In September 2020, Universal Orlando announced that the following year, in summer 2021, Florida's fastest launch coaster would open, the Jurassic World VelociCoaster. The original story of the land, Isla Aventura, would become somewhat even more muddled with the new addition. While the majority of Islands of Adventure's Jurassic Park land would remain, a large chunk of it would be themed to the newer Jurassic World films. Unsurprising, when Jurassic World alone earned $1.67 billion, the highest of any of the Jurassic Park films. The attraction story would be so simple, yet so on brand with the new movies, taking place right before the first Jurassic World film, when the park is operating and actually somewhat safe. This would be Claire's attempt of adding more thrill to the park that visitors were clamoring for, much to animal behaviourist Owen Grady's skepticism. Something that would not just give kids nightmares, but adults too. Something bigger, scarier, and cooler. A roller coaster that would send riders through the Raptor paddock. What could go wrong? Actually, for the first time on any Jurassic attraction, nothing would go wrong. It would work as designed. While the fictional park had been spending $26 million on the Indominus Rex that was having a few teething issues, work had already been completed on another star attraction for the dinosaur theme park. Interestingly, it is likely that the VelociCoaster cost more to create than the Indominus Rex. I guess you really do get what you pay for. On your high-tech roller coaster trains, you would get up close and personal with the 4 Raptors of Jurassic World: Blue, Delta, Echo, and Charlie. While these 4 Raptors were somewhat trained by Owen since birth, they were still always on the hunt, and you were about to become the prey. The team designing the attraction looked at the original storyboards for the gyrosphere ride in the movies. At one point, they indicated that perhaps they could have gone into the Raptor paddock. It was this that set off the idea for VelociCoaster. As you head down to the ride's entrance, 2 bronze Velociraptors on plimps greet you, a reference to Pyrock and Blizzrock from the Dueling Dragons entranceway. The story begins for riders as you enter the queue. Located by the water at the front of the distinctly Jurassic Park looking Discovery Centre, you head down a tunnel into the heart of the walls surrounding the Raptor paddock. Greeted by a bronze statue of the Raptors complete with a coaster, and followed by a familiar character, Mr. DNA. As you head deeper in, you see the launch bay windows, allowing a glimpse of what awaits you with the second launch. Keep watching as you may get a glimpse of 6 possible scenes of raptors chasing the trains. This effect is likely done using transparent OLED screens, a first in a theme park. Dr. Wu will next brief riders in a room full of Easter eggs. One includes Dr. Ian Malcolm's book, How the World Will End, that will be featured in Jurassic World Dominion. Universal Creative would partner with Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment to get the queue as close to the films as possible. In the past, the Triceratops encounter led you through realistic props from the movies to an animatronic. Jurassic World VelociCoaster would do the same. This time, however, those animatronics will be raptors, that would be followed up by an incredible roller coaster. One of the biggest complaints about Triceratops encounter was that it was quite disappointing that it just ended after the animatronic. As you head into the raptor paddock stables, riders get up close and personal with the muzzled raptors. I wouldn't get too attached though, as soon they will get into a fight with an Indominus Rex, which ends pretty badly for them both. While once you could stand in front of a realistic breathing Triceratops, today you get to look into the eyes of a raptor. These animatronic raptor heads could snarl, shake, and even breathe on riders standing right in front of them with pneumatic air effects. Motors create small movements on the head to make them feel extremely realistic. The story of the ride and safety spills throughout are told by Jurassic World's cast, who reprised their roles for the attraction. These scenes are dynamic, with the backgrounds behind the actors varying depending on the time of day or evening, to make it really feel that much more immersive. You really can believe that Claire is standing in that tower that you just walked past outside.
Hello everyone, my name is Claire Dearn, Park Operations Manager. Guests like you have challenged us to push the limits of our animal encounters. The message was clear: more teeth.
All riders need to put every loose article into a locker and head through a metal detector before heading up to the station. I of course need to mention the fact that these lockers are two-sided, and you remove your items from the other side to stop guest build-up and create a smooth flow. Who needs move-in storage bins, Yukon Striker? The station offers a sleek, wall-to-wall glass look into the paddock before similar, just as comfortable trains Intamin originally designed for Taron arrive. Only this time, more Jurassic World sleek. You really can't underestimate the importance of these Intamin trains in the overall enjoyment of this coaster. The higher seats give the feeling of flying through the paddock. This attraction has 5 trains total, 4 of which can operate at once, and the 5th allows maintenance without reducing capacity. To try and make your experience safer, InGen created the ride vehicle in the story with special infrared sensors in the headrest. These lights on the train will be used to track the vehicle, as well as keep the raptors at bay. The team working on VelociCoaster consulted actual scientific journals when deciding on a colour scheme for the attraction. While the lights create an incredible nighttime view, it wasn't all about looks. Shelby Honey, the ride's show producer, has said that there is science backing up certain frequencies of lights as prompting avoidance behaviour in avian and reptile animals. The idea was that not only are these lights talking to the paddock, but they are providing an extra layer of safety. These little details really help make the story, and for many go unnoticed. Intamin proudly boasts that the ergonomically formed seat is suitable for children up to riders over 300 pounds, making it one of the most accessible coasters ever created, and creating even better dispatch operations.
It was unbelievable. Gotta ride the VelociCoaster, you have to do it.
It was crazy.
Fire.
Insane. I was so fast.
All the twists and turns are like really awesome, and I don't feel like I've experienced a roller coaster like that before.
When we're coming through the rocks, the Velociraptor kind of pops out at you. Definitely feel like you're a raptor in the pack.
You think you're about to be finished engaging, and then it speeds up even more.
After pulling down your overhead lap bar, you head out onto the 4,700 feet of track designed by Keith McVean. After one last warning, the Raptors will be released. The first LSM launch takes the train from 0 to 50 miles per hour in 2 seconds directly into the paddock. This section is full of beautiful rockwork and raptors. No, not that kind. That one was moved on. As the train twists and turns riders through an Immelman and a dive loop, high bank turns and airtime hills. If you have time, you might even spot some M-rich dino chow after the second inversion. This same food was once on show in the Triceratops encounter feeding location in the queue, one of the small throwbacks to what stood before. You can also see broken pterodon eggs up on the rocks, perhaps laid by those flying right next door. Throughout the ride, you will encounter each of the 4 raptors, interestingly, in alphabetical order. After this, the train rolls into the second launch, taking the train from 40 to 70 miles per hour, and into a 155-foot top hat with an 80-degree drop. Once over the top and down the drop, the train enters into a 100-foot long hanging stool and heads over the inland sea lagoon. The final inversion is nicknamed the Mosasaurus roll, that really takes riders' breath away right before the end of the coaster. The first half of the attraction is full of near misses, tight turns and rockwork that makes you feel like you could be inside a raptor paddock. The second half is more open, more intense, and flies over the back of Islands of Adventure. Throughout the experience, riders can fill up to 12 seconds of airtime. After 4 years of preparation, the new coaster opened on June 10th, 2021. After soft opening in early May, with the project ahead of schedule, many of the kinks that plagued the other Intamin coaster in the park were worked out, and team members had the coaster running extremely smoothly for the opening day. Those who rode were even handed a free churro when exiting, in reference to Universal building that new churro stand. The ride reviews were overwhelmingly positive. The whole VelociCoaster project team that worked on this ride had created not only a perfect Jurassic World experience, but one of the best coasters in Florida, perhaps even the world. It was more than just your average roller coaster. Universal creative art director Greg Hall said that the team worked together to figure out the DNA of Jurassic, the essence of it. They came up with 3 categories: teeth, thrill, and environment. The new Jurassic World VelociCoaster exceeded all of these, an experience that pleased casual parkgoers, Jurassic fans, and roller coaster enthusiasts alike. Something that not many rides in the world can say they do. While many still miss the original Dueling Dragons, when it dueled, within 2 years the park that had had very little change opened 2 of the best themed roller coaster experiences in the world. While Hagrid's may have been tamer than the former B&M inverted coasters, VelociCoaster was not, and is now a must-do attraction every visit. To have these 2 roller coasters right next door to each other is something special. Islands of Adventure began as a place based on books, that over the years, sections have morphed and become lands based on films that were originally based on books. As for the Jurassic Park section of islands, the future is unknown.
Here at Islands of Adventure, you get to experience truly the best of the Jurassic franchise. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, really we see them as one kind of timeless story. So we really wanted to make sure that we weren't taking over Jurassic Park, because that story is still today just as good as it was all those years ago, but adding a little bit more for the future of the franchise. So trying to find that balance and really make sure we weren't fighting really in any areas, and we're kind of making almost a mini land, a mini Jurassic World land at Jurassic Park.
Will the rest be converted to Camp Cretaceous and Jurassic World River Adventure? Only time will tell. But if the quality of VelociCoaster is anything to go on, then I think we all can be a bit more open to whatever changes may come. The past few years at Islands of Adventure has proven that while a loved experience or attraction may close, it can open the doorway to multiple top quality offerings as the park continues to evolve. With the team that have been working on new attractions the last few years at the helm, the future of Universal Studios theme parks in Orlando has never been more exciting. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Expedition Islands of Adventure. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to join the expedition. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram for updates on upcoming episodes. And a special thank you to our Patreons for supporting the channel. Have you been on the VelociCoaster yet? What did you think? Or are you excited to ride? Let me know in the comments below. We will see you next time.